guys, welcome to our review of what is apparently perhaps the last Sony extended SSU film, PPU film, Kraven the Hunter. Sony, in all their infinite wisdom, has been doing all of these side characters with the Spider-Man license.
Ruining all these side characters.
With such hits as Morbius, It's Morbin Time, and Madame Web, Pepsi. I don't know. I was looking for a tagline for Madame Web, so I just said Pepsi. And now we have Kraven the Hunter. And I'll let Joe do the tagline. We'll talk about the tagline in a minute here. Guys, this is not a good film.
No.
Okay. It debuted with 13% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Pretty high for Sony.
It's now up. It's up to 15% right now.
Look at that.
No popcorn-o-meter, no audience rating yet. I suspect it will be higher, but
50.
The writing is bad, and it's not a good film by any means. However, Joe might have a different take here. I didn't think it was as bad as advertised. Maybe I watched a little bit too much of the internet, and I see people dogpiling it online as literally the worst. 13%, Joe. We have seen some 13% movies, and for me, this is not it. There are some moments in this film that are entertaining enough, pertaining to Aaron Taylor Johnson. I think he clearly prepared for the role. This man is ripped as hell, and
he's living your life.
When people kidnap his brother, it's like, man, if I had a brother, this is what I would want my brother to do for me. If I've been kidnapped, he goes hard.
Yeah,
and
big, muscly, well groomed.
This man goes hard. No, you're not gonna get the Henry Cavill factor from Joe, right?
No, that's not what yeah.
Oh, I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, that's
what are you saying? Tell me.
He was groomed as a child, and he's married to an old woman who knew him when he was a teenager, like a non-legal teenager. It's super creepy.
Oh, I heard a little bit about this. Well, whatever. Whoever
he likes.
He got some Legos.
She likes to rob the cradle, and he likes them old like Joe does. So whatever. His personal choices doesn't factor at all into this film. And honestly, so it is stupid. It is messy. The dialogue is some of the worst that we've ever seen. The best we've ever seen. 1 second, Joe. I know you want to unleash.
No, it's fine.
But I gotta say, there is enough action scenes here. We get a relatively comic accurate Rhino towards the end, and it seems like everybody in this world has powers, and it's like a special power. Maybe they were inspired by, I don't know, I don't even want to say in the same sentence, John Wick or something, where people are like hyper, trained in all these different areas. It is not incredibly fucking unwatchable and boring with no good action or visuals like Madame Web. I was hyped up that this was worse than Madame Web. And I think some critics, had saw it all together. Some people had to drive 5 hours. I think Dan had to drive 5 hours for it. Said no redeeming qualities. And so I was kind of, maybe that prepped me, and I liked it a little bit more because I found some entertaining elements in the film as purely kind of like a revenge film, kind of what would you call it? It's as if Vin Diesel wrote himself a script. If it wasn't Fast and Furious, he would write himself as this character getting revenge and doing cool shit. That's kind of what I would envision this as. It's not a good film at all. But so what essentially the Sony extended universe will go out with a whimper, because so far, as I see here, there's really nothing else planned from Sony's Spider-Man universe. It's being billed as the 6th and final installment in Sony's Spider-Man universe, the SSU. But that's not exactly true. I don't know why everybody's saying this. Sony has the rights to Spider-Man. They are never giving it up.
No.
And they
That's the only
already
thing they
have. Right. It's the only thing they have.
Yeah.
And they already have, Into the Spider-Verse. The third film is coming. And then there's the Nicolas Cage live action noir, Spider-Man noir project that I think is coming to TV, maybe Amazon, that's there. So the Sony Spider-Man universe is not over. Maybe they're talking about the side villains, these third-rate side villains. Kraven's not supposed to be, a third-rate villain.
I thought they were making a movie like Black Cat or something like that. I don't know.
No, so
yeah,
there was a few others, but as
Okay.
far as I can tell, I can't find anything. Like Silk was canceled, that Silk Spectre kind of thing. Yeah. Anyways, but that's my take. It's bad, at times hilarious bad, and yeah.
It's not a good bad.
Let's let them know what we're talking about. So at one point, Joe, what happened? We burst out in the theater laughing. Me and Joe burst out laughing.
Did she mean to say that? I didn't get the line. I was like, wait, that doesn't make sense. It was like during the hunting scene. He's like, oh, where'd you get this thing? He's like, oh, my grandma gave it to me. But she died after that hunting trip. I never saw her much after that. I was like, well, yeah, she's dead.
She goes, yeah.
That didn't make any sense.
She died, and I never saw her after that.
It's like, well, she's dead. But maybe that's her power? I was trying to think. I was like, maybe that's her power. She sees her dead grandma.
After she
I don't know anything about Calypso. But just the line she said was fucking terrible, though.
She passed away, and I never saw her again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens. I don't know. The line delivery was incredibly awkward. It was way more funny, and I couldn't stop laughing throughout the film about that particular line. There's another second moment.
Well, I will say this is better than Madame Web. But other than that, I honestly don't think the action was worth the price of admission. And I did go in expecting something low. The bar is already set low. I was like, I don't expect much from this. It's rated R. I saw the trailer. I was like, hey, maybe this might turn to a 5. Mm-hmm. Not expecting anything great. No.
An average film on our scale.
Yeah, but no, this did not work at all. The writing was terrible. I like the main actor, but he kind of bogged down with the writing. I didn't like any of the villains. They're so fucking dumb.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't like Foreigner?
No. Rhino just looked like a mixture of the Double Dragon and Freaked. I don't know if you ever seen the movie Freaked.
Yes, I have seen
it. That's what he kind of looked like. He looked kind of dumb. I didn't like the way he looked. Kraven is a superhero now. He's not a villain.
Yeah,
that's what Sony does. I don't like it.
Yeah. That sucks.
But the best thing was, there's some cool action scenes. There are some blood.
Yeah, surprisingly, they decided to rate this rated R for some reason, and with that, you do get to see some blood. You get some
interesting kills. I like that.
Some interesting kills.
But again, it's not worth you going out and see it, in my opinion. I would wait for this.
Yeah, it's a horrible movie. Absolutely fucking horrible. It's not Morbius or Madame Web bad.
No.
I mean, it only edges out Morbius because it's rated R. And Morbius, there is no real blood in the vampire movie. Mm-hmm. They really toned down the violence in that movie. This one, the violence is there, but the script is horrible.
Yes.
Horrible. The dialogue is horrible. The line delivery, the acting,
the pacing.
Even by Aaron Taylor Johnson is a terrible actor in this movie, and he's been great and stuff. He was so good at Bullet Train.
Yes,
so good in that. And he's sitting there talking about how I'm faster than karma. I'm the world's greatest.
Faster than karma.
I'm world's greatest hunter. And he has all the excitement that I just had in the line delivery.
Yeah.
And it's terrible. The Sony completely refilmed, I want to say, a third of this movie. You can tell that the actors are not saying the things like they have to put the camera angle to look that way. So when we rewrite all of this dialogue after the fact, we can ADR it in. It's so
It was so
awesome.
ADR, yeah.
The CGI is terrible. So it's
Yes.
like it's not a well-produced movie.
The animal CGI, which mostly the animals, and actually some of the human, when Kraven turns into, I don't know, scaling buildings and stuff, he looks like a CGI effect.
The Beast Hunter movie is better than this movie. The Beast Hunter movie is a better Kraven movie. Did you not see the 1970s classic Beastmaster? Sorry,
Beastmaster. I was like,
so Beastmaster is better than this movie, and so it's like this movie sucks.
Yeah.
It is horrible, but it's in the middle. It's in the middle of a bad bunch. It's still a bad movie.
Like me. That's what I'm saying. It's just not. People are like, "This is worse than Madame Web."
No.
Like, have you fucking seen
you're out of your
Madame
mind.
Web?
There's some people
You're
that
out
like,
of your fucking mind.
There's some people that look. If you like Madame Web, you're gonna like this.
Yeah,
okay?
I mean,
There you go.
if you're just trying to get.
There's people that like Madame Web.
Yeah, there are people watch it. Like it was on like the top 10 for Netflix for a short period of time because people were watching
I thought
that
because it was an aberration. You know, everybody wanted to see how bad it was. That's
No,
what I was
also the other one that I want to talk about, he's talking to a lawyer. He's like, yeah, I go by Kraven, but nobody knows that because I kill him. Next scene, you get this profile of him and his real name and everything is Kraven. It's like Kraven and everything. Like he has
AKA
social
the
number,
Hunter.
and fucking.
But that was because his dad betrayed him,
later
Joe.
on, it was like,
Only his dad knows.
Nobody
His dad
knows.
knew what
Only-
the Kraven
Even
was.
though his last name is
people.
Kravenoff.
Yeah, this is like what? Oh,
It's my super secret identity.
with the K.
It's almost
like
as bad
when
as
you just dropped a couple letters.
yeah.
real
You mean like
bad.
Ben Kenobi instead of Obi-Wan Kenobi? It's like, come on, you fucking idiot. Change your name right.
I think you'll like the film if you like to see animals fighting back against hunters. If you have a soft spot for animals and you want, the wild and the nature to fight back. There's plenty of that in this. I personally think that there was enough action, enough R-rated. There's never any outright gore or anything like that. But, in stuff like Madame Web and Morbius, it's completely bloodless and awkward and stupid. Here, at least there is some blood and some gruesome kills with that are very impactful. The way Kraven moves, you could tell that Aaron Taylor Johnson did study. He did work out quite a bit. Some of it looks awkward when he turns into a CGI character, but some of it is practical, and he's trying to do some of these, very powerful moves. He definitely feels when you see his presence. His presence is there. He has the presence of Kraven, where he's in a relatively medium frame, but he has the strength on par with, say, Kingpin or some bigger.
What are his powers?
villains.
Like, can he control the animals?
Yeah, no, not really. I mean, he has mutual respect with the animals. They feel like he's an alpha.
But he talks to them. He's like, "Hey,
no,
I need
he
a
doesn't
favor."
talk
He
to
summoned
them.
He summoned.
Come on, Joe.
He summoned a stampede
And a bear.
Yeah,
and a bear.
He had to have either
This
talk
is
to
a-
them. Yeah, he had to either
Well, that's
talk
what
to
I'm
them
asking.
or started the stampede himself in a specific
'Cause I
direction.
just thought-
Oh, and then they also start to circle. We'll get into some of that in the spoilers.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what his powers was. I thought he was just like super strong
one
and
knows.
an amazing like hunter and stuff like that. Not able to talk to animals and
He's Dr. Doolittle.
Okay, so his powers in this film are Joe
talking to animals.
talking to animals,
Super strength,
super strength,
He can fall like a cat.
like a cat, and climb.
climb.
He can see
cat,
cigarettes from
he
really
can
far
see
away.
super far away. I like that example. He can see cigarettes super far away, which, by the way, he does nothing with.
No, it was important.
Nope, nothing.
It was
He
super
did nothing with the cigarette.
No, that's how we
ran-
found him.
He ran away from the. No.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was. It was a
his-
Turkish cigarette. That's how they found out he was a
that's
Turkish
right,
mercenary.
yeah, shit. But he doesn't immediately go collect the cigarette. He actually goes and chases
Yeah.
them. And at one point, I thought he'd come back and collect the cigarette. No, he
No,
continues
he can
to
read
chase them with
Turkish
the
at
helicopter.
a far distance.
Yeah. So
It's very unclear
It's a very-
what he does.
Well,
it's totally clear.
explain
I
what-
literally just explained all
Explain
of
what
it.
Foreigner does. The useless, horrible
That
addition.
is the
A
they're
terrible fucking villain.
yeah. I feel like this Calypso character was just kind of forced into the film to
Oh my
give.
God, yeah.
what is her purpose?
Love interest.
Somewhat love interest, but it is so flat. They don't even try. It feels just forced in there, tacked on. She has no character. She literally creates Kraven and kind of takes away from the Kraven lore and the Kraven, his I don't know, agency and what he does, because she's constantly saving him, and then she actually creates him. So they tie these two together quite hard. And again, she is also a superhero. She has no villain tendencies. She's not like in the comics, because in the comics, Calypso is tied with Kraven, and she like eggs on Kraven to like attack Spider-Man and do shit. And that it's completely opposite here. They're complete heroes. There is a moment where Kraven is attacked by spiders, and it maybe gives him a fear of spiders, or makes him just hate spiders. So in the next film, which is never going to happen because this is the 6th and final installment of Sony,
he's like getting attacked by spiders. He's like, I hate spiders, man.
I wish he would have said something. He doesn't say that.
I hate spiders, man.
But that's the level of writing that it was. Like, I hate spiders. Or I thought he was going to drop that line. He does not. Anyways, it's real bad.
Yes, it is. I didn't.
But is this a good bad, Joe?
No.
Or is this a bad bad?
This is a bad because like the only.
So it's a bad bad.
It's a bad
but it's
bad.
not as for me here. Terrible. Let me rank these. So Sony has fucked up. Morbius, trash. Madame Web, trash. What else do we have?
Venom was not very good.
Venom is their only success. The first one, is all great. Carnage, trash. The Last Dance, even worse. It just no purpose. And where I would put, Kraven amongst that, I'm actually entertained at points in Kraven. I like it more than Madame Web. I like it more than Morbius. I like it more than Venom. Last Dance. I actually liked it more than Last Dance. Last Dance had barely any action. It was fucking pointless shooting at stupid symbiotes that we have no attachment to. I don't have a fucking dance number and the out of place comedy. And then I think I like it better than Let There Be Carnage because of how the fact they pretty much completely fuck up Carnage. So if we're talking on this very low scale where all of them kind of suck, I think it's, I don't know, third. No, that would be second. It's below Venom, the first Venom film for me. So by that measure, I think it's one of Sony's betters, but it's garbage in comparison to the MCU, to what Sony's done in the past with the Spider-Man films. Sam Raimi, Amazing Spider-Man I like better with Andrew Garfield. Pretty much any of that shit.
Yes.
Where would you put it amongst those? Do you like Let There Be Carnage and Last Dance better than Kraven?
I mean, it's like which turd floating in the punch bowl is your favorite? It's like they're all turds in a punch bowl. And so it's like Venom is slightly better, but...
That's great. It's true.
It's true. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean,
that turd is more entertaining than that turd.
Yeah.
But they're both turds.
Yeah, it's like, which one would you rather eat? It's like,
no, Alex. What are you doing?
We're talking about consuming media, right?
No, we're not going to consume turds.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't think you should
consume turds.
Don't consume any of these turds because they're all turds. I just think
because, so, and then you have actors doing really bad. Like Russell Crowe as a Russian is just not convincing to me,
Have you seen Les Mis?
You should watch Les Mis because you know nothing of Javert. Because he's terrible in that too.
What does
and he
play?
Sings. He plays a character named Javert, and he sings in an accent. It's awful.
In an accent.
Awful.
Yeah, well, he thinks he's doing a great job as this very
He's so much better
rough
here.
and gruff Russian. Okay, so that must be real bad then.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't really buy it. But at least you have Russell Crowe in the film. He's interesting to watch. You have, Aaron Taylor Johnson doing his thing as Kraven. But everybody else, literally everyone, didn't care about, no screen presence. He has a younger brother. I see what they're trying to do there. If you're into the comics, you know that this is Chameleon, and they throw some bits and pieces of Chameleon in there, especially towards the end. Something that they'll never do anything with now that we know.
That's what they know for. It's like, oh, we're gonna do Easter eggs. That
Remember when Vulture got together with Morbius and he's like, I'm putting together a team, and the guy's like, for what? And he's like, I don't know. And then the movie ended.
Right. And then we're waiting for the credits, and then we are all on our phones looking up, do we need to fucking sit here? Do I have to stay? And it says, no, there's no after credits scene in this. Showing that it's not like they're going to, Morbius and Vulture show up to Rhino, who's and still, passing away, so.
Like, I'm Rhino. I was like, you don't look nothing like a Rhino.
Yeah.
No. I didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I like that mask. I like that goofy mask better.
You like the goofy mask?
Yes. When you put on a silly hat, you're waiting for your friend to turn around.
I'd love to see it. All right, well, I guess what else could we talk about? Oh, so yeah.
Let's talk about Foreigner, this guy that shows up who has no purpose in the entire movie other than to be miscast and not threatening and with weird undefined powers. And I hated every second he was on there.
Me too.
Yeah.
Fucking he killed his mentor. He's like, now
someone killed
vengeance.
his mentor, and
it was Kraven the Hunter versus Hitman. So another comic book deep dive. I don't know
she's
who
looking at the Daily
is.
Bugle.
So what was the name of the doctor?
Warren something.
Yeah,
Dr.
I
Warren.
want to look that up. So the explanation for a comic accurate Rhino and later on some chameleon stuff, they name drop a doctor twice. And if they got to continue with their SSU, I'm sure that they would have, brought this doctor in and done more stuff.
A team up of nothing but ex-heroes, ex-villains that are not heroes.
Joe, I don't care when multi-billion-dollar companies waste money and burn money of their own money. So if they want to do, I'm
Sinister
kind of interested in seeing, a shitty Madame Web with those goddamn awful glasses that she wears in the final scene.
They have to recast
Those
her.
Party
City glasses, and then fucking Jared Leto showing up and be like, and then Kraven,
You think
except for he didn't want to. They didn't pay him enough this second time around, and so he kind of let himself go. He doesn't have the abs anymore, and he's all this.
Why did they just give him the jacket? I don't understand. Why doesn't he just have the fur coat?
Because the ending, Joe. We'll talk about that in spoilers.
You see it. I think you see it later on, but what? They're never gonna do anything with it.
Why do you even want the fucking jacket in this kind of film? It means nothing. It means nothing.
I finally have the jacket. It's like, oh, cool. Now we're never gonna see this.
Congratulations.
Now we're never gonna see it. So it's a waste of time.
The project was billed as the next chapter of Sony's shared universe. I don't know if that's gonna. It's not tracking well. It may bomb at the box office spectacularly.
People aren't craving Kraven.
Agreed.
They're not craving the Kraven.
Yes, it is gonna bomb.
Is it gonna make more $1 billion though?
This was a film that was delayed over and over to avoid competition from other film franchises around prior to the August release date. And then they said this release delay was a strategic reflection of Sony's excitement for the film. Chandor felt that the delays allowed him to sharpen the characters and tighten the plot. The plot is anything but tight.
It was the pacing was all over the place. It was drawn out. When you get flashbacks, brother stuff, it's like, I don't care. This is fucking boring. But they want to introduce a brother, Chameleon.
Deeming reshoot strategic and effective. No. Despite the disastrous underperformance of Madame Web, Sony felt optimistic that Kraven the Hunter would be more in line with the Venom films. Well, we're going to see. I don't think that this thing has legs. Who knows? Maybe the ladies will see it for Aaron Taylor Johnson, but not with his weirdo stuff around him.
It's not weird. It's a preference.
It's because, that's part of the reason why Jason Momoa pulls $1 billion. Now, Aquaman 2 didn't do quite as well. Still $500,000 plus.
Dumb fun,
The ladies go and see it because they really showing off the guy's abs in the posters. But when we went to the theaters, I didn't see no. Oh, there was one grandma with her dog. in the theater. That was the most interesting thing. Did you see the dog?
No, I didn't. What kind of dog
Yeah,
was it?
I was like, what is this dog? Is that a dog, Joe? Yeah.
I want to hang out with the dog instead of
Yeah,
watch
it was
this
a
movie.
golden retriever. I was like, how'd she get that dog in there?
I mean, that's exactly
Service
who this
dog.
movie's written for. People as dumb as go. And look, there's some smart golden retrievers. I think golden retrievers and people like who like this movie, same intelligence.
There you go.
It was. I don't really know what else to say about it. I mean, the origin story that they have here for Kraven is so cringy. It's so awkward, and it's filmed in a way that it's like, if this is how I got powers, I'd be ashamed. He's on the ground. It's like, choose a fucking direction. It's like, go on this hunt, this legendary fucking lion who has killed 10,000 people, apparently. You know, they literally say that. I think it was like 1,000 people. 2,000 people. I'm like, really? Okay.
Like, that's
nobody goes and hunts?
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people. The military would become involved at that point, but whatever. You can't find this fucking... And then he just so happens to show up, you know, when they're on the hunting trip, and then he gets mauled, and then I guess he has an open wound, and so after the lion mauls him and leaves him on the ground, then a little piece of blood, and the lion gets shot a little bit from his father, and then the lion is perfectly standing over him so that one little blood droplet can drop into one little blood pool droplet on his chest.
And he managed to carry him. Managed to carry him from there all the way to where that little girl was.
Calypso.
Yeah.
And Calypso.
At the right moment, and then that's how you could tell that she's so forced into the film. She just so happens to be in the same area, in the same hunting area.
Because it was so fucking stupid.
And you could tell by the topography that she's nowhere near where they were, but then all of a sudden, there's some bushes that creates a wall, and somehow the lion comes through the wall, and they're in the same spot. It's like, those are clearly fake. You bought those from, at home. And
I was already rolling my eyes in the beginning because it's like, she's sitting with Calypso, the grandma. It's like, hey, I read the script. Face the cards. It's like, oh, something's gonna happen, and you're gonna save them. Here, take this. Take
this vial of indescript liquid that is a secret formula, and I'm not gonna tell you what it does, and I'm not gonna tell you when to use it, but you'll know exactly when to use it.
And I would have poured it in
when
the wound.
When the script says to use
it. In the wound.
Do I put it in the wound?
You don't put potions in the wound. That's where the lion's blood goes.
Are you sure, Joe?
I don't know.
I think it's.
It didn't come with instructions.
No, it's boof it.
What's the point? It didn't come with instructions.
And he goes, why are you doing that? Fuck is wrong with you? And she would have said, hey, the lion was dripping blood into that open wound, so I thought I'll add into that mixture, right?
Maybe
that gives you your powers.
She's a little kid. Maybe it's like a healing property.
So is Kraven a product of legendary lion blood, or is he a product of voodoo magic?
Both.
Magic liquid?
Both.
All right.
Both of them.
Got it. So that, I don't know if we went into spoilers. I don't fucking care anymore. Guys, let's give a final verdict, and then we can go into the actual spoiler section.
I'm giving Kraven a 3. It is an actively and aggressively bad movie, and it only gets any amount of points because it does have a few short action sequences. The problem is this movie feels like it's 9 hours long, and we only get probably 10-15 minutes of like solid action. And then a lot of time when the action's happening, it's terrible CG action. It's a terrible rhino set. It's a terrible stampede of CG.
Black Panther.
Bovine.
Was it Black Panther?
But yeah, that movie was ruined by its CG rhino too. And so it's like this is terrible. It is a bad movie. Everyone who's in it knows it's bad. Like Aaron, again, he acted poorly. Like he did a terrible job playing.
Hey, man, I would have taken the money too. I could buy some cool stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Hey, you want to be a shitty movie? Yeah, I know it's shitty.
Oh, he's never not going to be 007 anymore. Like if
this is going to ruin his reputation. That Bullet Train role, I'm like, man,
fucking
I like
amazing.
that. I could see him as doing some good stuff in the future. And then he did this.
He did this. He did that Fall Guy movie that lost $1 billion. Like, I mean,
Not his fault.
yeah, but he's
And this honestly isn't really his fault either. In my opinion, he's probably the better part of the film.
yeah.
No, who is responsible for this, Alex?
Oh, well, the Sony guy, Tim Rothman, and then Avi Arad, like they've been in charge of all these real great. Tim Rothman.
Avi Arad, I've heard this guy's name once again. Is this guy in charge of all the worst fucking projects?
Yes.
He's got some.
Why is he in charge?
Pictures or something.
Why do they continue to let him do these things?
He was involved with some movies that were successful despite him.
Okay.
And so then he's like, "Oh, I want you to do these things." They're like, "Well, it's going to ruin the movie." And they're like, "Hey, I'm paying for this movie, so you have to do these things." And then he ruined the movie.
Yeah. What about Tom?
Tim Rothman. He did Daredevil, the really good one with Ben Affleck.
Yeah, no.
He did Elektra.
Nope.
X-Men: The Last Stand. Fantastic Four: Rise of Silver Surfer.
Awful.
X-Men: Origins Wolverine.
What the fuck?
He told
That's
Ryan.
a little better. But
He told Ryan Reynolds because he saw that test footage, and he's like, "We probably need to recast Ryan Reynolds. We don't want to make this movie." So he passed on it.
Yeah.
And then he went.
that one I'm glad because we needed to get that man away from Deadpool and Ryan being in charge of Deadpool. So we dodged a bullet by him saying no to Deadpool.
Yeah, and then he did Morbius, Madame Web, Venom: The Last Dance, and Kraven.
Wow. That man, because that man still has a job, that's just depressing.
He's got some dirt.
That's some depressing ass shit. Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, I agree with that. This is a 3. There's some cool action scenes. Well, I wouldn't say cool, not cool quotations. You get some of that, but I wouldn't.
Cool.
Yeah, you wouldn't. I don't want to go pay money and go see that again. The story was fucking terrible. The love interest of him and Calypso, will they, won't they, kind of thing. I don't know what it was.
I don't even think it was.
Or whatever.
Isn't it hilarious, Joe? I'm
No,
sorry.
it's
One
fine.
more thing. Isn't it hilarious? He has a pilot friend who I'm like, how does he get around the world and do all his hunts? Well, he has a pilot friend. You never fucking see her. It's like the camera is purposefully, hiding her or something. And then all of her shit is ADR'd.
They have to do it from the back of characters' heads because they ADR'd all of the lines in after the fact.
Yeah, and then half of the plane is also off the screen. Maybe they couldn't afford a full plane.
Yeah, especially when the
Sorry,
helicopter's
Joe.
right
Go
above.
ahead.
He's like, kind of turns away. He's like, "You gotta be kidding me!" That was fucking terrible.
ADR'd.
Yeah, it was fucking terrible.
You gotta be
It just sounded way off. Yeah, that was terrible. The fucking villains were terrible. The foreigner fucking sucked every time he was on the screen. He's like,
I can't wait to talk about it.
it like drained the energy out of the room.
Yeah.
He's just like a fucking succubus. I was fucking bored.
Let this guy in here. We did it. He has the power to come in here whenever he wants.
1, 2. I was like, you put him to sleep counting down like that. 1, 2.
Joe, wake up!
So yeah, not a lot of points for this. That's it. Just 3.
Okay.
Fucking waste of time.
So I liked it better than you guys. I don't think it's a fucking, worse than Madame Web.
1.
And we gave Madame Web a
2.
2. Yeah, no, I don't think it's a 1. I don't think it's a 2. I would rather rewatch Kraven than Madame Web. I'd rather rewatch Kraven than Morbius. I think it's entertaining. I think the action scenes are cool. Just like one guy, like just with pure fucking instinct and willpower and skills and hunting. I guess I kind of like that stuff. And then the
if they would have made a movie like that would have been great. I don't know what the fuck they did.
That he is friendly to animals and uses animals, and we see animals get their revenge on certain hunters and stuff. So I like those parts. But as far as the story's awful. The villains are awful. The dialogue is terrible. The characters are one note or not even there. You don't care about anything. So it's just purely watching, some action scenes and some explosions. You can turn your brain off, then you can get a little bit out of it, but not much. I am going to give it a 4 out of 10. I think it is below average. But still has some entertaining bits here and there. Who's that guy? The guy that played Rhino.
The one from Face Off?
Yeah, the one from Face Off, the younger brother from Face Off. He knew he was in a bad movie. And the way he was acting as his character was good, fascinating, terrible, but good terrible.
I needed the more Jeremy Irons.
I don't know, like when he got mad, he's like, ah! Exactly how I did it. Not screaming at the top of his lungs,
But he did that,
but
yeah.
like a restrained ah.
I wanted more of that because I do want the Jeremy Irons from Dungeons and Dragons, like that level of like he knows he's in a piece of shit, so he's gonna go to a crazy town with it.
Yeah, and so I liked that guy as Rhino, and it was kind of cool seeing a comic accurate Rhino. I'm like, oh, they went there. Doesn't look very good, but they did go there. All right. Anyways, so 4 out of 10 and 3s all around. This one you can wait for, and I'm sure it will show up on.
If you won't,
I don't know.
Or don't
Disney.
watch it.
Where's it gonna fucking show up on? I don't know.
Netflix?
Sony has contract. It'll be on PS4. I don't fucking know.
Netflix, because that's where Madame Web was.
Netflix, right? Yeah, Morbius and yeah.
I hope Netflix doesn't buy this one.
I don't know. I think there's enough entertaining bits in there that you could see it. Like, I would say stay far. Don't waste your time with Madame Web and Morbius.
Play some good
This
games.
one
There's a
is
lot of
awesome.
good games out right now. Do that instead.
Okay, that's
Stare
our
at the wall.
opinion on Kraven. You're not really going to be Kraven the Kraven.
No,
Okay,
not this time.
and it's not Morbin time anymore.
No.
And we're all out of Pepsi. I'm just and I hope the MCU can find a way to utilize Tom Hardy's Venom, but if we have to lose one good, some good aspects to Tom Hardy's Venom to have these never be a thing anymore, I'm willing to make that sacrifice.
Let's explore the X-Men bad guys and just ignore Spider-Man forever from here on out. Let Sony have a sad little shit show, and then the MCU can go in the direction of the X-Men. I think that could be cool.
Do you think that this is truly the end of the SSU?
I hope so.
I think with the whole redemption villain arc, yes, but I think that they're going to continue to burn money to make god awful things.
So who would be next?
I would think
We know they're going to continue with Spider-Man.
I still want Vulture, but
Vulture.
but
That's right.
the comic
old
book
man.
one.
I know you. Yes.
With the ball-
bald-headed.
Oh no,
and
you want the
white-
one from the animated?
white
Spider-Man that
feathers
you-
around
yeah.
his collar.
Yeah.
Old man and hunched over. Yeah, I will watch that.
Why not?
Yeah. Didn't
Fucking sick.
Michael Keaton do kind of a thing, Birdman or something?
Oh, he did
that?
Birdman.
he did
Birdman was great.
Birdman.
Yeah. That
The
was
guy
crazy
with
looking.
Scorpion.
Scorpion, who was
Mr.
the guy from
Negative.
Far Cry, and I'm really sad that he never got to get in a Scorpion suit. But maybe it's best that he didn't get Voss from Far Cry.
Giancarlo Esposito. Yeah.
No, that's a different guy. Giancarlo Esposito, I think, is a different guy.
Which one from the boys?
From the boys, yeah, no, not that guy.
Okay.
And I don't think he was Scorpion. I don't know if he was in any Marvel stuff. What he was?
He's
he
in the
Marvel?
next one. He's in Captain America, isn't he? Or he's
Oh,
in,
that's
he's-
right. That's right. Yeah, he's
new
in the
one.
MCU. All right, that's it for us, guys. We will go into the spoiler section, talk about all the stupid moments and plot holes and hilarious dialogue. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys. Hey, welcome to the spoiler section. So, I kind of spoiled already his fucking creation.
Origin story.
There's a reason why they put the first 8 minutes out on YouTube, because I think, fuck, I should have said this in the review. The first 8 minutes are all right. It's about a guy who's target. He's a fucking assassin. And what makes his assassination somewhat interesting in this world of assassins, everybody has a thing. So Kraven's thing is he uses, hunting skills and animal instincts and shit. And his eyes glow yellow in the dark, which I thought was kind of cool. And then but then the rest of the assassins kind of suck. But it seems like there's a lot of people with powers. So then you got one guy the chameleon, who can mimic people's voices. Later on in the film, he goes to the same doctor.
In New York City.
Rhino shares a story with him that, after Kraven's father disrespected me on a hunt, saying I'm nothing and this and that, I went and I got stronger, and this doctor helped me.
I went to this doctor named Dr. Warren. He's on 5th Street right before you hit 7th Avenue, and he's in a gray building. It's like, why are you telling me this? It's like, oh, because a moron wrote this script. Okay, cool.
So later on, he goes to the same doctor, and then he turns into the white version of Chameleon, and now to go along with his mimicry and his voice, he can actually change bodies.
I laughed.
And when he mimicked his brother,
I laughed.
He's like a little shrimp version of
I thought of Wolverine, the Deadpool one.
Look. Oh my God!
It's not
comic
a very
accurate, Joe. That's the comic accurate height.
Yeah, but it's not a very good chameleon if you're gonna be 110 pounds and 5'6". He's like, I can turn into this guy. He's not 110 pounds and 5'6".
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, Rhino his body kind of bloats a little bit, gets more muscles, gets bigger. Chameleon should be able to go down and up, but they forgot.
No.
The CGI goes.
just do the head. Wouldn't that look weird?
So now every time he tries
to.
Now every time he tries to take on the form of a bodyguard to get past the club, like they're like, what the fuck? It's like, who let the Munchkins out? Where's Willy Wonka, man? You Oompa Loompa, get the fuck out of here. And he's like, oh shit, my powers suck.
Yeah, not very good.
Even if you sound exactly like the bodyguard when you're 3 feet tall, you're so. Like I said, really stupid powers. And then the next one is the foreigner. We never learn what country he's from.
He's from nowhere.
He's got to be from France.
I thought they said he's American.
No, I don't think he's American.
But he speaks Turkish and Russian, and he knows all the stuff.
Okay, I guess he's all countries in one.
Yeah.
And they never really explain his powers. I guess maybe this is a comic book thing. I'm not familiar with the foreigner. If you look into his eyes kind of turn black, and then he has 3 seconds to do whatever he wants to you.
Only 3?
And one time he takes a gun and he puts the gun in the opposite direction, and just to mess with the guy. But then another one, he goes behind him and shoots the guy in the head from behind.
Can you just close your eyes?
No.
Yes. So when you fight him, all you have to do is close your eyes when you fight him.
Or have sunglasses on. Like, how does he... You just can never lose to this guy if you just wear sunglasses?
I don't know. I think it would penetrate sunglasses.
He wears sunglasses.
And he takes them off every time, right?
So if you're wearing sunglasses, you're immune.
Oh, shit. That's even worse powers.
It's like 1, 2... He moves.
Oh!
Well, he could control you.
Why'd you do
He
that?
could control you and move very fast, right?
Well, maybe you're
the guy
experiencing
shot
time.
himself. Wait, did he shoot? I don't know if he shot.
What do you mean?
The informant?
Yeah, I heard.
I don't know if
It looked like he shot himself type thing, but we don't know how time works and his bullshit powers. And I really don't care enough to think about it anymore.
I think he shot the informant. Or did he walk away from the informant and then it showed the informant already dead?
But he moves at like lightning speed.
If he's already dead, then he did it, John. I don't think he has suggestive powers. They would have shown that on screen more. He just can move around for 3 seconds. But it's a long 3 seconds. He goes 1,000.
That's cheating.
1,000. 1,000.
It just felt so stupid, though.
Like really?
Yeah, and he sucked.
They didn't need him.
But here's the thing. This guy sucks so bad, he defeats Kraven.
Yeah.
He literally defeated Kraven. So I guess along with that, that's not his only powers. He's actually a really good assassin on his own. He was trained by Hitman, apparently. Hitman, who I guess is his own hero in Marvel. And he studied under him. And so he looks at the poison that Kraven had used previously. He figures out where the toxin is from, and it's only in a certain part of Russia. So he's like, that's where he's at, et cetera, et cetera. Later on, he uses his own fucking toxin. And, you know, when Kraven is in the final battle, he does a blow dart and it hits Kraven's side. And I'm like, Kraven's dead. Because any assassin worth their, you know, weight would fucking put poison, nightshade, something that would kill you instantly. And he doesn't?
No, he wants to beat him up. He wants to play with him in his mind.
All right, fine. So
Because of hubris.
beats
He
him
likes
up,
counting.
Yeah.
and he counts a little bit.
3. Shit.
3? What is 3?
Yeah, Kraven can dodge
A
bullets.
combination of 3 and 5 from Jeopardy. Go ahead.
Yeah, he can dodge bullets, but the subsonic blow it's actually a little pistol that just, you know, like shoots us.
Yeah.
And it
Throughout the entire film, Kraven is shown to be crawling on the ground, just barely missing bullets. And I'm like, at least show him get shot once.
yeah, it wasn't a real
you know,
satisfying
and
takedown.
Pulling bullets out, because that's a little too much.
He has instant healing because when he fights a CGI tiger that scratches up his arm, within 30 seconds his arm is fully healed. But he doesn't actually, in the movie, they don't say that he has healing powers. They just forget to keep up the wounds on his arm.
Right. So continuity. They had nobody in charge of continuity. And in fact, the claw was such a pathetic, superficial scratch, like from a house cat. House cats make deeper cuts than that fucking snow leopard.
I have scars on my legs from fucking Mittens climbing up, and he's like, I'm going to sit in your gut.
Yeah.
And like...
But he had that one scar on his back.
Mittens' claws are long now.
He had that one scar on
them.
his back, probably like that big when he got mauled by the lion.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty bad. And, okay, so, but to finish up on the Foreigner, he beats Kraven. And Kraven is injected with a bunch of toxins that is making him hallucinate, and he's seeing things, and that's when the spiders come into effect. So there's no real spiders. He's just hallucinating spiders.
He was studying spiders in the Amazon.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
His worst fear is he got teleported to Madame fucking Web.
Yep. Anyways, he falls on the ground and Hitman stands over him. Hitman does a cool fucking kick. You know, he doesn't have all the muscles, but I guess he's somewhat in shape at some point.
Yeah, but it's hard to be intimidating in a fucking, it was like a teal turtleneck.
Turtleneck.
It's like, what the fuck, man? Can you at least dress like you're an assassin? You look like you're an asshole.
I don't know. I kind of like
Assassins
the asshole
have the
look. It makes it
fucking
interesting. Why do you look like an asshole? And then he's an assassin.
And then he takes off his glasses and it's like,
that one.
look into my eye.
3. And then, so Kraven would have died if not for
Calypso! Because earlier she found his secret little button, and she pushed the button around his house, and all these little
gadgets
weapons come down, and she's with the bow and arrows. I'm pretty good. I went to summer camp once.
And I'm like, what the fuck?
That's what she said.
Well, okay. I guess it's implied later on that she's lying and that she really does have.
She was also lying about the grandma. Duh. I couldn't tell you in spoilers.
She lied that she didn't have more of the liquid. She had more of the liquid.
She clearly saw her grandma more.
She says, he's like, see you later. I don't know. What is the assassin's catchphrase? He's like, see you around after he kills somebody.
Yeah.
And then he says that to Kraven, and then she goes, no, she has some epic line where she's like, motherfucker.
Because he's counting down. He's like, 1, 2, and then she shoots him. It's like 3, motherfucker.
Oh, that's what it is. 3, motherfucker. Like, so we went to an R rating for this kind of shit, this kind of writing, 3, motherfucker. And the way she says motherfucker is so weird.
It's probably ADR.
And it's probably ADR, even though her lips were literally saying motherfucker. So they purposefully put a wrong take in there.
They wasted the rated R on that,
Yes.
and on the they put down these bear traps, these big no bullshit, not for coyotes, but real crazy bear traps. And he throws it on some dude's head, and I'm like, oh, cool, he's gonna
That
snap
was
his head in
cool.
half, and it just kind of closes on him, and he falls over. And I was expecting them to go gore and rip
did
his head
one.
off or something,
We got
I would
split
have
in
given
half.
the film
but then they cut
points.
away.
Yeah, I would have given the film points. It's a half measure. It doesn't do the gore. We've seen, films that like to do practical effects and trauma films and things like that. It would have been nice to get some of that, but here we do get blood. It's not bloodless, and it is brutal, but it's not at that level.
Yeah, I'm convinced that they filmed this as if it was going to be PG-13,
Yeah,
and then they're
probably.
like, we could lean either way depending on what scenes that we use, because it does not feel like an R-rated movie.
It feels like they filmed it the way they filmed it, and then they just put it to screen. And in previous movies, when they cut it down to PG-13 or PG or whatever, they remove or cut right before the shot continues. Yeah. This feels like the thing that you get when you get the DVD from a TV edit or something. It's just not brutal enough to be notable or to pump it with some points of some artistry and craftsmanship with practical effects, with gore and action oriented stuff like that. It doesn't have that. But at least some of it's there. What else? So then he gets shot in the eye with a fucking arrow, falls on the ground, and that's the end of the Foreigner. I guess he's fucking dead, and then Calypso comes and gives him more of the liquid, which revives him yet again. It's like, well, if you have a vial of fucking, revive juice...
But only works if you have lion blood.
Is that what it really is?
No one knows, Joe.
No one knows.
No one knows. But it's probably only if you have lion... Super special 2000 confirmed.
What does it do without lion blood?
You die.
Yeah. Poisoned.
Yeah. The only thing that you can spoil in this whole movie is it turns out that... So no one knows who Kraven the Hunter is. He's a very successful assassin. But all of a sudden, Rhino is given footage of Kraven killing this dude in the intro scene. And it says, this is Kraven the Hunter. This is him. This is his real name. His last name is Kravenoff. I don't know how you would not have known. It's like, who could have seen that coming? But it turns out...
Nobody knows the name Kraven, Alex. They all die after they learn the name.
Yeah, and so
that's why.
His dad, Russell Crowe...
puts it together.
His dad put it together.
His last name is Kravenoff. What if we take the off? Kraven, done.
Got it. Yeah.
Genius.
So his dad had...
terrible writing.
Used Kraven to kill Rhino, who was trying to move in on his turf because his dad couldn't do it, and so that's the whole twist, and I didn't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at the end of the film, he goes to his father, which is on a hunting trip, and his father's like, yes, it was me, but I did this on purpose. Now we can rule as a family together, as father and son. We can rule the galaxy, and Kraven's not having any of it. He walks off, and it appears as if he's maybe going to let him live, but then a bear comes rampaging. He's like, well, you better prepare yourself. You're a hunter, right? Kind of thing. The bear comes rampaging in. He gets the gun, and he has no bullets. And Kraven has always been, and when he was a boy, he was like, I don't like hunting these lions because you have an advantage. You've got a bunch of guns. You got military equipment and all this other shit. If you're gonna fight him, then fight him. And so he lets his father do that at the end, and his father fucking gets destroyed. And
his dad was probably gonna die anyway, because you can't have a deer hanging that close to your floppy little tent in bear country. That's kind of real dumb. Don't do that. Like, you can't even go to Yellowstone and do shit like that. You're gonna get eaten.
Yeah, he's an idiot. And so he dies later on.
But it's off screen. We don't see him die. He could have lived.
He dies. And then we go to the next scene, which is his brother is mad at him, apparently, for killing their father, even though the father was abusive to him his whole fucking life. And he gets so excited when he sees his brother. I don't get this sudden change that he's like, well, you're a hypocrite because you're just like our father because you killed our father. It's like, yeah, but he was a fucking dick this whole
The doctor
fucking time.
turned him on him because by this time the doctor has injected him with juice, and now